Hey guys, Professor Pill, Comic Book University, and a slightly different kind of review this week. We've got Randy Bamboo, Volume 1. This is the collected edition. This is very different from what I'm used to reviewing, but it's all good. This was actually really fun. This is a children's book. It's basically a bunch of like comic strip stories, all of them 4-panel, and they're just, they're cute. None of them are particularly great for adults, but that's not actually what the book was for. I can give you some suggestions. Number 21 in the book. I love that they're all numbered. What a gorgeous day. What a day to treasure. What treasure? The day. Yeah, let's go find it today. Oh, okay, cool. Cool your jets, old gold digger. I have a shovel. So, kid that just doesn't get the irony. So it's basically just these two characters right here, and they hang out and they're like, best childhood friends and whatnot. I guess this is supposed to be Randy Bamboo himself, and this is his probably a future girlfriend or anything to that effect. What do you call it? You can see the author, R.C. Beaird, Randall Carter Beaird, right up here with the fish. I don't know the fish's name. And the illustrator, Borislav Grabovic. So, Serbian name. Not the most familiar with the names of the world, and I butcher names anyways. I think everybody's used to that by now. Anyway, here's another one. Randy Bamboo in Chicken City. So these are indeed stories for kids. This actually happens in the comic book or in the book itself. This feels a whole lot like a Calvin and Hobbes, which I think is the obvious play, which makes sense. Bill Waters doesn't do comics anymore. He doesn't do his comic strips anymore. Therefore, his annotated collection, he doesn't do those anymore, which stinks. But it also leaves a big market. Therefore, this was taken care of. This was a good idea. A lot of the stories in here are fun, like the idea of saddling a shark. The stories actually come back again later. So even though realistically, I think that as long as a kid can read, while they might not understand everything, the idea that certain stories come back later on, like the concept of trying to put a saddle on a shark. This is Randy's brilliant new invention. And the idea of him trying to get his father to actually implement the idea, to prove that it works. That's all. It's just for scientific analysis. I like that. I like that stories and ideas are revisited in the book. It gets kids to start thinking about what came before it. The illustrations in here are simple and yet beautiful. That's funny. I actually opened up to, I think this is the first story about the shark in here, number 15. Also, and I can't help but to say that, the idea that every single one of these are numbered, it's a great idea. Some of these I like to try and find a criticism of everything I read. They can get a little bit redundant for adults. Case in point, there's a story here about Randy wanting to buy a cow, and his potential girlfriend, his best friend, she says, "Well, why don't you just buy a cow?" In this panel, he mentions how, no, I don't think that horse milk has quite hit the market. But since they've all got to be 4 panels, this extra panel is thrown in. And it kind of diminishes from the story. It kind of diminishes from the joke. If it would have ended with the whole horse milk hasn't caught on yet, that was funny. That could have been probably the funniest joke in the book, but then it continued for one more panel, and it kind of fell flat. It's like filling space. I don't know the reason for the necessity of the 4 panels on each one. Maybe this is for a comic strip that in a local newspaper. Randy R.C. Beaird is from Texas, the Beard Hunter from Texas. I better watch it. And he I don't know why he chose to make them with 4 panels. Perhaps the local newspaper, perhaps he writes for that, and that's the reason why it's got to be 4 panels. I'm not entirely sure. It feels to me like it's an idea, if you stick by a certain pattern, even if it doesn't fit, then it's going to detract from the story. Again, it's a kid's book, not necessarily meant for me. Gotta say though, mine was personalized. So this was seriously fun. I enjoyed this, and again, the Calvin and Hobbes feel it's good enough to be on the back cover. You know what I'm saying? Could be on the front cover, why not? But it's a good idea to market off of. Anyway, this is great, like just being put together in a collection, the volume 1. I think this is a great idea. Coffee table book for the kids, especially if a bunch of kids are going to be coming over. I wouldn't say necessarily a birthday party, but if you're going to have, some of your kids' friends come over or something to that effect, yeah, this is a great coffee table book at the very least. And again, if you saw what was inside, none of the words inside here are particularly hard. I would say for, let's say a third or fourth grader at the very least. This is nothing for a fourth grader. But third grader and on, they should be fine. So what would that be? Age 8 and on. I think that the reading material is just fine for them. Prior to that, they're looking at pictures, help them learn how to read. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Enjoyable. For what it was, enjoyable. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.